Ago, ago. Welcome to Africa Linizi, the African drum, and the Mozana Senior High School Repertoire. Apart from the beating of the African drum, Africa also had an efficient postal system in delivering messages as another means of communication, be it via horseback for first-class post, via the elephant as second-class post, and for bulky goods, which was considered third-class post, was via camel caravans. Oh, and let's not forget the local post was transported via the donkey. Communication was also executed by sea using canoe. But the beating of the drum was by far the fastest way of sending messages across the continent. The African ancestors had figured out the sound emanating from the beating of the African drum travels at speeds of 343 meters per second. The vibration of the sound that arises from the beating of the African drum creates sound waves where movement of the sound is achieved through the vibration of objects along the paths of the sound waves. Fascinating, isn't it? But Papa Africa said the sound of the beating African drum was not able to travel in a vacuum because there would be no objects for the sound to bounce off on. Just as you can hear me speak, Papa Africa said, the sound that emanates from the beating of the African drum can travel in air or in the open space, just as we can hear the sounds of aircrafts in the air over 30,000 meters high up in the sky. The sound of the beating African drum can vibrate in water, just as we would hear the cries of a dolphin. And sound can travel at a distance by vibrating through solid, just as we would hear and feel the vibration of sound from loudspeakers through the walls at home. Ayomide, age 7, asked Papa Africa, how did our ancestors discover the speed of sound and its importance? Simple examples were used to explain the importance of sound, Papa Africa said. In Africa, he said, we revere the animals that roam in it, and we learn a lot from their behavior. Ayomide rolled his eyes, suggesting Papa Africa would go all the way to Timbuktu and back before answering his simple question. Papa Africa, noticing Ayo's face, looked at him in his eyes and shook his head. Children of today, he said. Ayomide, just hear me out, please. The animals on this land are vital to our existence. For instance, in the wild or in the savanna plains, the lion, leopard, cheetah, puma, the python, even the eagle all bear one similar trait when hunting for a prey. When they catch their prey, the first thing they do is to prevent their prey from screaming or screeching by clutching tightly to their windpipes with their fangs, talons, and their powerful constrictor muscles to prevent the prey from escaping and calling for help or backup. A cry for help or a noise from their victim would travel at the speed of 343 meters per second, attracting unwanted attention. Thus, sound or cry for help, for instance, is vital in attracting attention, just as an ambulance in today's era turns on its sirens to signal danger or urgency. In times of unrest, war, danger, ceremonies, festivities, martial law, threat of invasion, special announcements, you name it, the experts shall sound the African drums at the royal palace to transmit the message to the rest of the kingdom. The smaller the drum, the shorter its sound range. The bigger the drum, the longer its sound range. Specific rhythms, beats, tempos from the beating of the African drum would contain encoded messages for each eventuality, which can only be decoded by a skilled interpreter and relay the deciphered message or messages to the Rex and to his or her subjects or to the community leaders. Every kingdom on the African continent has its own style or brand of drums, just as everyone nowadays have their own brand or style of mobile phones, iPads, and laptops. Papa Africa said, drum stations or drum houses were once dotted in strategic locations around the continent. Skilled drummers were duty-bound to encode and decode messages from one kingdom to the next until the message or the messages reached its final destination. This is comparable to routing telecom messages via the cloud from one node to the other until the message's final destination. The only difference today is that messages are transmitted within seconds or milliseconds as compared to days or weeks, thousands of years ago. One needs no proof. It is quite succinct. The sound of the beating African drum has played a significant role in the foundation of the mobile technology today. When you hear a phone ring, always remember the encoded or decoded sounds emanating from the beating of the African drum thousands of years ago played a role in the revolution of telecommunication. Not everyone is fit to play the African drum, Papa Africa said. It takes great skill, discipline, strong upper and lower body strength. You have to be physically fit, good concentration, mental endurance, constant practice to perfect your skills, dedication, inner strength, and a good ear to be able to accurately tease out melodious sounds, speeches, idiomatic expressions, poems, language translations by beating that infamous African drum. I shall leave you with a small excerpt courtesy of Prince Edufa from his YouTube page, where children from Mozana Senior High School in Ghana Central Region demonstrate how the beating of the African drum was once used to recite proverbs in the Fanti language in the presence of dignitaries. At the end of the dialogue, a man from a different tribe, the Ga tribe, speaking different language, challenged the team or the drama's skills by requesting a Ga proverb to be transmitted or translated by beating the magnificent African drum. And just listen to the audience reaction when the drama nailed the request.
Na metra ma bottom di etumpana bonism otrema wo flow den oyiwa asu wo friend oduma kuma trema baku esuma awisuma yalbaka atrema libenyen watunizin amamra want to tunase kusuma amamra want to tunase amamra da oman enyimye mezi amamra da oman abokose mezi sa eto amamra china ashla dukase amamra yezim Chana so amamra buama omani tumpon yezi amamra huoko ye no ho amamra today chirefua amamra want to tunase yano ebenazin amamra oye kusum ishishai papa bia Yaneti timpayinfu ashesha tuwa Eje awada yedesum oman Ghana Na obenene yedi atebiri chiyeyi Obenene abufre chiyapeyina opiana ochiani Obenene beyin Besia Wafa wanu hude awalefui Amanye senti abufre mbupeyin Akatese na wupe chilguwe Abrante wablawatse Gane me Humayenso henu kusune hinamamble muzim Na amambra want to tunase. Me don't want say.
Ga ase duketeke. Anambe anante. Ga ase duketeke. Anambe anante. Ga ase duketeke. Anambe anante.